Good evening, lovely tubers. White Mexican back again with another Market Watch investments video for you guys tonight. Getting things kickstarted, we got the virus cards. There's been some pretty interesting fluctuation in these cards, so we're going to go ahead and just do a quick review. Starting out with Crush Card Virus. Interesting enough, the 2008 Gold Series print has the highest out of them all. Clearly, this must be just pretty much because this card is probably just not a lot on the market. You can see here, gonna go ahead and switch over to Near Mint, lightly played as always. This card is just seeing some obscene value here. The first prints we see are going for 125. That jumps almost just shy of 200 bones for this particular version of Crush Card. I'm not really sure why, again, besides maybe that there's just, well, it's clear there's not a lot on the market, but card's always been kind of good money, but now it's worth a lot more, significant more amounts of money. So interesting enough on that. Eradicator Epidemic Virus is actually my personal favorite viral card. I am a huge Dark World player. Dark Worlds can pull off any of the virus cards relatively well. Of course, there's Layer of Darkness players out there too that can pull off the virus cards really well. This is the highest rarity we have of this card as a secret rare, dawning from Force of the Breaker. Super old set. Near Unlimited's alone are about 30. Let's go ahead and see if we can dig out a first edition. First edition is going to be all the way up to 150 bones. So and that goes straight into two sets of 150. And this one is a European print, European German, and then goes to 200. So this card is insanely high in value as well. More so, I think the last time I reviewed that card, it was only around 50 or 60. So join up all the way up to 150 is pretty incredible. Let's go ahead and take a look at Deck Devi. This is going to be the ultimate rare version. Of course, this is the highest rarity that we have in the TCG, dawning from Flaming Eternity, another super nostalgic classic old set. And let's go ahead and see if we can find some first editions. Unlimited's alone are going to be around 22 for one, and they jump to about 26. Then the first editions are going to be around 35, and these kind of just trickle up after that. Only 2 pages available. This card looks great. Artwork is great, and it's an amazing ultimate rare. One of the few viral cards that we have ultimate rare, so props for that on its own merit alone. Next is going to be the ultimate rare version of Crush Card Virus. I still think it's so insane that, and don't get me wrong, I like the Gold Series 2008-2009. They did gold very, very well in these sets. It's just crazy how the Gold Series is like 125, and then the ultimate rare version is 20 bones for unlimited. And then if you want to get into some first edition realms, you're going to run yourself around 30 bones. So it's like you can get a first edition ultimate for 30, which I think it's safe to say the majority of the player base would want a first edition ultimate rare, dawning from Duelist Pack Kaiba, I believe it was. Yes. And it looks like it's the same artwork too, so it's just really, really insane. Again, this is just really low quantities in the market, so must be what's going on with that. Really quickly, so there's abundance of the rarities of lower reprints of these cards. What I wanted to mention really quick was Full Force Virus. I think this card has a lot of good potential. It's not necessarily good right now, but all of the viral cards are really diverse, and you can kind of be interchangeable. This card is just insanely cheap right now. There was the 2017 or 2016, I think it was 2016 Mega 10 reprints as a secret rare as well. This is the OG out of Raging Tempest, and this card is literally like a bone for first edition secret rares. And there's not really a lot of fat stacks, hardly at all, or no really fat stacks for first editions, at least on this first page. But there's plenty to go around, so I mean, really quick, I'm just going to switch this over to a 3 of just to kind of show you guys. So here's an 8 stack for about a bone plus 99 shipping, and then it goes to about 2 bones for these fatter stacks here. So there's just something about this card. I mean, I may be a little biased because I just really, really love all the viral cards. The majority of them are secret rare, and they have really, really great artwork. So I don't know, there's just something about this card. I think that it's just really cheap right now, and if it was to see any kind of play, I think eventually a deck's going to come out that can abuse this card relatively well. If not, I'm sure some players run it in some Dark World builds, depending on what's going on, or maybe the Layer of Darkness deck. I'm not really sure, but just wanted to showcase that really quick. The next thing was going to be Graining Grave Virus. So this is a solo print super rare Dawning Out of the Layer of Darkness structure deck. I think this is a really good card too. Obviously, it's ran in Layer of Darkness decks, but I think there's other decks that could potentially use this. If you pause and read the whole effect of this card, I don't really know if a lot of people know what this card does, but I think it's pretty blowout. Artwork is pretty cool too. Again, I like all the artworks for the viral cards, and of course, this just being a structure deck, super rare, it's really not a lot of money at all. Because it is significantly cheap. It's like under a bone. Again, I'm going to switch over to the 3 more stacks to see kind of availability. It's about a half a bone. There's a 43 stack right here, so plenty to go around. And yeah, it's still to this day, it is a solo print, and I think it's just one of the viral cards that is just really not present and not really represented at all in like any kind of game state. So that's enough of the viral stuff. Really quickly, we're going to do a quick spin review on Duelist Saga. I love this set. This set is one of some of the only ultra rare cards I personally invest in. Duelist Saga, still to the date, is the only set to have this special like laser beam looking hollow foil for the ultra rares. Blue Eyes White Dragon is going to be at the top right here. And this and the Dark Magician have been increasing relatively significantly in value, slowly but surely. And it looks like we're seeing, interesting enough too, you notice that like all of this stuff is first edition. I think maybe Duelist Saga didn't have an unlimited run, because there's no unlimited. So I think that's pretty cool too, that there wasn't any unlimited runs. Or I've never, maybe let me know if you guys have encountered an unlimited card from this set from Dusa, because I just you can't find any. So it's pretty much clear that this is probably solely just a first edition set. But anyway, about 14 bones for Blue Eyes, so not too terribly expensive, but definitely more expensive than what it was going for. I mean, that card used to be like a couple bones. I remember a while back, several years ago, I unfortunately sold a couple binders of random cards on eBay, and had a couple of these and a couple of these and a couple of these and a couple of these, and it was just ended up losing a lot of value. So you gotta be really careful when you're selling in bulk of that. Really make sure you know what you have. And yes, like the White Mexican, we all make mistakes every once in a while, so it kind of just is what it is. Some really great stuff again. Just Dark Law, Darkness Metal, Blackluster Soldier, Tsukiyomi, Effect Veiler. This is like one of my MVPs. I love Duelist Saga of Effect Veiler. It's definitely my second favorite. Obviously, the first is the Ultimate. The Ultimates are just gorgeous. They just have a ridiculous price point right now, though. So I think these are a healthy alternative. These are kind of expensive for what they were. This has gone all the way up to like a high of like 15 or so. It's back down to about 4. But this card, I've been spoiled. This card used to be like $1, $2, $3, so I'm kind of used to that price point. So it's kind of trickled up a little bit higher than what I'm wanting to pay for it. But it's a very aesthetically pleasing, a really great card. Definitely one of my top favorites from this set. Another one that I wanted to mention was Magician of Faith. This card was banned forever, and we really don't have a lot of good hollow foils of this. There is a super rare, which is like pretty much unattainable, from I think a champion pack, which is really, really expensive. But I think this is an amazing alternative foiling. It is an ultra rare, Duelist Saga ultra rare, so it has a really nice foiling. And this card has been going up too. This card was like $1, $2 for like the longest time. And it's been slowly trickling up. Only 2 pages on the market. And it's about 5-ish bones, and it kind of trickles up after that. So it's seen some pretty great price fluctuations. Again, I love the majority of the stuff from this set. There's just, it kind of reminds me of like Legendary Collections 3 and 4. A lot of the reprints that came in those sets were just some really great choices, and I think Konami just did like a blowout job on this set. We got stuff like Pod Duality, Solemn Warning, Dyna, Mizuki, Tour Guide, Necro Valley, Deep Sea Diva. There's just the list goes on and on and on, and there's just a lot of great cards in this, and I talk about this a lot, and I give this set a lot of coverage just because I'm such an avid believer that if this continues to be the only set that has this rarity, and with like the card selection, like, you know, Jinzo and Imperial Order and Dark Magician of Chaos, there's just so many like really infamous cards in here, and this is a very special rarity. This is another really great card too for all the Blackwing players out there, or you know, even Harpies players. I guess technically made for Harpies, but you could run this even in Blackwings. Blackwings is another big player favorite deck. You can pause the video. I review this kind of in and out. I think this is a really undervalued card, and this is the best version. There was I think a super rare from one of the Duelist packs, but obviously I think it's safe to say the majority of players would want to get the Duelist Saga versions because the foiling is very, very nice. So definitely check that card out. It's going to be enough for Duelist Saga. Next is going to be Gravekeepers. I just wanted to review this deck core really quick. I love Gravekeepers so much. The original prints donning on a Pharaonic Guardian way back to Gen 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself is an Egyptian-based themed game, and of course originating from Japan. But this, you know, I just love the artwork, and there's just this such a fun deck. It's not necessarily a meta-defining deck, but it's just one of those like old-school fan favorite decks, and I'm just a huge fan of Gravekeepers a lot. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ultimate Rare Commandant. This is actually my favorite. This is Anubis here. Of course, it's an old school Ultimate Rare from Force of Breaker. So just that on its own merit alone is pretty awesome. And it's going for some insane price points here. Even Unlimiteds have gone all the way up to 65 bones. Continues to trickle on. The first edition prints are going for a whopping 80 bones. Only 2 pages on the market, so that has definitely seen some exponential growth. I remember not too long ago, maybe a year or 2 years ago, I was I picked several of these up, maybe like 4 or 5 first edition lightly plates for about 14 bones a piece. So now that the Ultimate Rares, you know, for the first edition, for all the Ultimate versions have gone up a lot. I wouldn't discredit the also ultra rare prints as well. Now, granted, I don't normally go for just any kind of ultra rares. I kind of bag on ultra rares from time to time, but this is from Legendary Collection 3. Legendary Collection 3 and Legendary Collection 4 have just, you know, I just have an unlimited amount of love for those sets. The reprints and the rarities are just really great, and this card just really works. There's some cards that just really work in ultra rare. Of course, you have a super rare Spy, which is like ungodly expensive because it's a champion pack, but there's a lot of healthier alternatives to this card that are really amazing. Of course, we got Recruiter and some other stuff here. But again, Spy, there's like, again, Legendary Collections 4 donned a secret rare. My personal favorites are the dual terminal rares, which I'm actually going to get into here shortly. There is quite a few cards here. You can see I have a lot of tabs, and I'm really been trying to kind of cut down my videos. So really, I'm just going to go ahead and make Spy the last Gravekeepers card that I want to showcase. I just kind of want to briefly just do a little splash review of this deck, just kind of have you guys take note of it, appreciate it, and then move on. So you have the super rare, the secret rare, and then there's some ultra rares as well. Ultra rare from, so the secret rare from Legendary Collection 4, ultra rare from Legendary Collection 3, but my all-time favorite, and Gravekeeper Spy just being one of the really just kind of like bread and butter of the deck, and just a really just great card in general. Call this the OG tour guide. It's kind of like the Gen 1 tour guide back in the day. Is the dual terminal rare from DT6, and this card is sitting about a bone. There's a fat stack from Nonstop Gaming here for 11, so this is really great right here. Only 2 pages left. This is finally starting to trickle down, dwindling on numbers, and I'm really surprised it's taken so long for the player base to take note of this, because this is still insanely cheap. So I would not be surprised if this 11, 12, and 24 stack get taken out relatively quickly. I really don't know why it's taken so long for people to pick up on this. But, you know, to each their own. I know not everyone likes Gravekeepers. I'm just a personal fan favorite myself. Next is going to be Infernity. So I never got to play this deck. This deck was like super meta defining and crazy before I came back into the game in 2011. So I was really disappointed that I missed out on this deck at its full potential. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Barrier. Of course, this is bread and butter of this deck. I think this is still hit to 1, if I'm not mistaken. One of the most infamous counter trap cards in the game, if I'm so bold to say. And this is insanely expensive. Unlimiteds are about 32, so those have seen exponential growth in value. 4 pages on the market, and the first editions are going to be about 46. So definitely painful for any player's wallet who wants to invest in OG prints of Barrier. There are super rare alternatives from the 2012 Collector's Tin, which again look nowhere near as nice as the secrets, but they're literally, you know, not even a bone. So if you guys don't want to break the bank, you can definitely get super rares on the cheap, nice and easy. And what else is there fun? There hasn't been a lot of reprints of this deck. This deck was like just a really blowout infamous deck, and then it really didn't get a lot of reprint love, and it's kind of why the prices have stayed so high. Like Mirage. Mirage still to the date is a solo print super rare from the Shining Darkness, which is just insanely ancient. Unlimiteds alone are going for around 21. First editions are going for about 27 plus. These are all 1 stacks, only 4 pages on the market, so pretty incredible for Mirage. And my all-time favorite is Necromancer. This is going to be the amazing DT version. I think the only other versions that we have are common. I just want to check really quick. The reprintability game on these cards is just so terrible. Yeah, so Stardust Overdrive, a common, and then of course the DT4. Of course, everyone's going to want the DT4. Now, granted, they're both common, but this has the hollow foiling of the DT. And these are going for about 11 bones. A little bit more availability here, about a couple 3 stacks in the market here. But it quickly just trickles up from 11 to 13, then kind of trickles up after that. Only 2 pages on the market for that. So incredible value in Necromancer, another card that just really doesn't have a lot of prints at all. That's what's difficult about this deck. You know, Mirage is a solo print. There's only 2 prints of Barrier, but you know, the 2010 promo, it's super cheap, easy to get. Necromancer, I mean, you're not going to really want the common. You're going to want the DT, and then, you know, the DT is, you know, 13 plus. Another really great card, necessary card too, which I believe is at 1, if I'm not mistaken, is Archfiend. And there's some really great versions of this card, more specifically the Dual Terminal 7 rares. Again, another amazing rare card in DT. These are the Ultras from the Stardust Accelerator promos. These are actually pretty nice too. These have seen a pretty good price jump. They're about 8 bones now. And it kind of just trickles up after there. Only 3 pages, but personally, still to the date. Now, I will admit, seeing how this is a game promo, it does look very nice, even though it is an ultra rare. But more specifically, the Dual Terminal 7 versions look very, very nice too. And finally, we're seeing some price increases in this. This is sitting about 5 bones now. For the longest time, this card used to be like $1 or less, and there was just stacks and stacks and stacks. There's only 3 pages left on the market now. Some pretty good stacks here on the first page, and now it's about 5. So I'm really happy about seeing some price increase in this card because this is well deserved. So that's going to be enough for Infernities. Moving on to the next deck core is going to be X-Sabers. So I believe this was a GX fan favorite deck. Again, I was not currently active in the game when this deck came to Premonition. We got the Turbo Pack 7 super rare of Paschal. I think there's a DT version. I'm not sure. But this is a pretty popular card in the deck. I never personally piloted this deck. It was kind of like trending out when I came back into the game. There was very few players playing it in 2011 when I returned to the game. Also, there is a DT, and it's like insanely cheap too. So really, I would, if the DTs are really only a bone, I think it's silly people are spending, you know, just under 10 bones for the super. And yeah, this is about a bone. Here's a 7 stack here, 38 stack here. So plenty availability for this. I would definitely say it's from Dual Terminal 1 too, which is insanely old. History credits on its own merit alone for being from the OG. Well, of course, there's Dual Terminal Preview, but a lot of people don't even have access to that. All those are pretty much collector's cards now, well into the collector's market, but got a special place for Dual Terminal 1, being that it was the first one, and it's the oldest, second oldest DT set to the preview set. Arabellum, again, this is Dual Terminal 1. This is super rare. And again, Dual Terminal hollow foils. Like, I love all Dual Terminal, but Supers and Ultras just look so gorgeous. We got Invoker, which is banned. A couple awesome Seeker reprints. We got Fulham Knight, however you pronounce this. This is a pretty cool card, too. And a lot of this stuff ran parallel with the Hidden Arsenal and Dual Terminal stuff. So really, really cool. I don't know if people really remember. I mean, I know people remember this deck, but it was just a really kind of like blast from the past deck. Really quick, I do want to take a look at Arabellum because I really like this card. This is like a Spirit Reaper. But it's a DT hollow, which is really great, and it kind of reminds me of like X-Men with the little dagger things in the hands. And the availability is insanely low on this. I mean, Nonstop Gaming has a fat sack of 32, but they're holding a price point of 9, which is pretty incredible. It's about 3 bones on average for the rest of the market, so they're really got a corner on the market there for that. But X-Saber is pretty cool. You guys should check them out if you want. Next, the last core set that I want to review for the showcasing is going to be Gishki. More specifically, all the DT prints of this. Again, this was a deck that ran parallel with Hidden Arsenal. So, if I'm not mistaken, all of the prints are either Hidden Arsenal or DT. Of course, safe to say, majority of player base would want the DT stuff. If I'm not mistaken, I think Zigagigas is hit or limited on the list. I know it's got some kind of restriction. I think it's down to 1, if I'm not mistaken. Really good card. Cool artwork. This is a super rare from Dual Terminal 7. This is sitting at about 4 bones. And there's only 1 page of this, so incredibly kind of low quantity on the market. Here's 11 stack is the fattest stack here for 522. Definitely the best version of this. Again, all the DT stuff. This whole deck comes in DT, and it just looks gorgeous. I really, really love collecting deck cores, and stuff that comes in DT is really, really great. It's not a blowout deck. It's not super good. It's just kind of a fun water deck that just looks really nice, and it all comes in DT, and it's all relatively inexpensive except for the first couple of cards here. And it's kind of just, I don't know, it's really just mostly for the artwork. Like, the artwork is just really, really cool, and I just really got a thing for water-based archetypes and stuff. So it's completely up to you guys. I think eventually, again, same thing with Duelist Saga. Dual Terminal's been out of print for several years now, and Konami has not commuted anything about reproducing DT, so I just think on their own merit alone, the prices are going to go up for any DT card. And if you guys have deck cores, like full-on deck cores in DT, it's going to be pretty incredible for you guys in the long term. So next, I want to review a couple structure decks. The Soulborner structure deck, I'm sure you can probably get this cheaper on other sites, sealed structure decks, and after they come out for a while, they're kind of a little bit more pricey or expensive on TCG Player, but interesting enough, it's gone up to about 24 bones. I'm a really avid fan of when a structure deck that you believe is going to be really popular. You know, you go on eBay or whatever it is that you can buy bulk sealed product, first edition exclusively, of course, and you just hold it. That's what I did with Soul Burner. I think I bought 3 cases, 2 or 3 cases of this first edition sealed, so have about 24 decks. I don't remember if the cases come with 10 or 8 decks. I think they come with 8, so I have about 24 of these sealed, and they're over double in value now. So Soul Burner is not an incredibly old deck, but it's not really new either, so I was really surprised that it's already doubled in price. Funny enough, the common Ash Blossom is the most expensive card in the deck, which kind of makes sense. Salmon and Greats have definitely ran out of favor, I think, with the player base. I'm not really sure why. I've been having a hard time keeping up with the current meta. I don't get to go online and play a whole lot, but this card was, you know, blowout for quite a long time. This came out when I was in Japan, and everyone would just, this was fire. Everyone wanted this deck. So interesting enough, just kind of want to follow up on that investment. The next structure deck is going to be Layered Darkness. I've been really wanting to figure out a way to try to combine this with Dark World. Again, I'm just a huge Dark World player. Usually when I go online, I'm usually playing Dark Dolls. I blend Shaddoll's with Dark World, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's an extremely fast turbo deck, and it's really, really fun. Get to draw a lot, and it's really great. And I've been trying to figure out a way to try to do a kind of Layered Darkness Dark World, because, you know, they are Dark Fiends, and some of the stuff kind of works out, but it's kind of hard to blend. I'm still trying to kind of figure it out. I just think it's kind of an idea in the back burner now. But I wanted to take a look at, in general, this again is already over doubled in price point. This is a significantly more older structure deck than Soul Burner, but it's just holding really great value. Again, these as they go out of print, the players that hold these sealed first edition, they just have great collector's value. Again, there's always going to have to be someone who's going to be willing to buy it, which that may not always be the popular opinion at the time. But me personally, structure decks are like some of the only things that I really feel comfortable with investing in, because when you get them immediately, right when they come out, you can get them extremely cheap, and that's really kind of the only sealed product that you can really do that with. I've tried doing that with like tins and booster boxes, and I just really don't have as many sealed tins and booster boxes, because actually I don't have any booster boxes, because it's just incredibly expensive, but they are more valuable, so it's all just personal preference. I did want to review one card in particularly from this structure deck. It's going to be Lilith, Lady of Lament. This is still to the day a solo print ultra rare. I think the artwork is just amazing. This card really reminds me of, what is it called, the Witch, the secret rare Witch card that came from Soul Fusion that lets you special summon a fairy monster from your deck. I can't remember, but this, for some reason, this card always reminds me of kind of the similar artwork of the Fallen Witch, and it's just, this artwork alone is amazing, and just the sheer fact that it's still a solo print is really, really awesome. I really hope we get a reprint of Secret Rare. I think this would just, like, it looks gorgeous enough as an ultra rare, and I'll be the first one to admit I'm not a big fan of ultra rare, but it's a solo print. It's all we have right now. If this came out Secret Rare, that would just exponentially, just like completely just boost the artwork on this. The artwork is just really awesome, really cool effect too. And, you know, it's not really a big deal. It's about 3 bones, so, I mean, it's not a terribly cheap structure deck card, but this is just an amazing card, and I just wanted to give it some showcase, give it some light and some time in the spotlight. And the very last structure deck that I wanted to review, again, I really harp on this and go back to this and talk about it a lot. It's kind of too late to get these now. They're not really at Walmart or Target anymore. Remember when I was living back in El Paso, I was going to, like, you know, miles and miles away trying to snap up first edition copies of this from every Walmart, every Target, and I got quite a few. I was relatively successful at it. It was right before they kind of went out of stock, and I think I have about 3, around equivalent to 3 cases. Now, unfortunately, because it was from where it was, I didn't get them offline. They are loose, so I keep them in you know, individual sealed boxes and all that. But anyway, this is seeing a little bit of growth. This came out 14 bones. So about 4 over the last couple months, about 4 bones increase in value. Terrible really market value. It's kind of interesting enough that these commons are holding more than the hollows. But another thing that's really special about this, besides the sheer fact that Shaddolls are a huge fan favorite deck. I mean, we had that triad of Satellar Knights, Burning Abyss, and Shaddolls, there's just a lot of avid players out there that love all those decks. It's the only way to get Wendy. Wendy is still a Soul Prince super rare from this. I don't think that's going to last forever, but as of now, it's the only way. I mean, anyone who plays Shaddolls Invoked or any kind of Shaddol blend, they're pretty much exclusively going to be running 3 copies of this. Also, the alternative artworks of Winda and Construct, which are just some of the best fusions. I've really gotten into Shaddolls of late, so I don't want to sound biased, but these are just really blowout fusions, and they're really, really great. Also, the only way to get Ariel as well, which is also a super rare. So, just an all-around amazing structure deck. So, if you happen to run into sealed first editions at 10 bones or under, you got yourself a really great future investment. Next is going to be Lava Golem. So there is the DT3 super rares, which are really great. I'm going to get to the original OG secret rares in a minute. But the DT3 super rares, these have seen some pretty good growth. There's been a lot of fluctuation in this. I think the highest I've seen them is 14. First couple ones are about 12 now, so it looks like it decreased a little bit, but the availability is relatively low. There's really not a lot of stacks here. There's only 2 pages, so interesting to see what happens to that version. And I've invested in both. I have several copies. I think I have about 18, probably around 18 of the super rares, but even more so because of how ancient and just the history behind this card and the artwork, and being a higher rarity as a secret rare. I know people have like raw sphere mode and Nibiru, and there's a lot of different ways to kind of and kaijus, of course, but I think this is another healthy alternative side deck card. I know it's kind of a little slower and old school. It's a fiend. It's a level 8. It's a 3K beater. I know technically you give your opponent the 3K beater, but the artwork too, I'm just obsessed with this card's artwork, and this version being from Generation 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! From Pharaonic Guardian, another set that holds just a really great place in my heart. That's, again, Dawn Gravekeepers, and I used to call it the Yellow Pack back in the day. It was all Egyptian theme based, and it was a lot of cool stuff. And Unlimiteds are not really anything. They're about 7 bones. There's 5 pages available here on the market. First editions are going to be about 16. Now, this has been a price decrease. I want to say, I don't remember the last time I reviewed these, but I want to say they were 20 plus. So it looks like it got a little bit flooded on the market, but don't worry if you have this. I'm personally holding mine. I know that this is well already in the collector's market, and it has nowhere to go but to increase. Next is going to be Dark Necrofear. This has some of the most unparalleled artwork, in my personal opinion. So many amazing, great prints. You got the OG Ultra Rare from Gen 1, Labyrinth of Nightmare, which is, already in the collector's market, been in the collector's market exclusively for the first edition prints. Really curious to see what it's going at. Only 2 pages on the market here, so really not a lot of availability. First editions is going to be 15. This is a steal. I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is insane. I'm very, very surprised. Here's a 4 stack for 15 plus 99 cents shipping. I'm really surprised, because after these few ones are swooped off the market, these 5 are for 15, and it jumps to about 19, and it jumps straight to 50. This is where this should be at, and this is where this card is going, 50 bones minimum. This is a Gen 1 collectible card, amazing artwork, and who knows, maybe it could see playability sometime. And this is not a Merrick. Who was it was one of the like Gen 1 anime characters. It was pretty popular. Bakura. This is a Bakura card. Bakura was a really cool character in Gen 1 anime, and this is like kind of like one of his big cards. So anime history props for that. So again, 15 bones I think is a really good investment for a Gen 1 first edition OG print. There is a lot of awesome, healthier alternatives, though. More specifically, my top version of this card, besides the first edition LONs, would be the Dual Terminal 2. These are rares, and again, I'm just really big, avid fan of any kind of DT stuff. And these have slowly, extremely slowly increased in value. Finally got down to only 2 pages. Again, this used to be a card that used to have just so many pages and pages and pages of card availability. Now it's down to 2. Fast stack on the first page is going to be about 6. And this card is really only a couple bones. But again, from where it came from, like I think back in 2017, I was getting this card for like a $50 and under. So this is definitely going places. There is also the Master Collection Volume 1 Secret Rares, which just look amazing. Again, Secret Rare, Ghost Rare is my favorite, but Secret Rare is definitely right behind Ghost Rare, and this is very much a gorgeous Secret Rare Master Collection Volume promo. And these are insanely cheap. These are still to the day like about, you know, $1. Here's a 9 stack here for about $1.50. Plenty of availability, 4 pages, so market is not really showing a lot of love for the Secret Rare. But you know, I just have mounds and mounds of praise for this card. Again, there's just a lot going on with this card, and I kind of go in and out about showcasing this card because I just personally really like it a lot. So definitely check out the 15 bones for the OG first editions. Next is going to be Reincarnation. So Tricksters have kind of had their fun here and there. They were a meta-defining deck for a while now, and now they're kind of been subsidized, kind of just being blended with other archetypes, which is fine. I think it's a relatively fun deck to play in general. Holding pretty good value, even for the reprint. It looks like the... let's take a look at the OG print from Code of the Duelist. Code of the Duelist, a lot of cool stuff from this set. This was a transition set. This is the set that donned us Link cards, so some great history points for this set. And first edition is going to be just shy under 10 bones, and then kind of slowly trickles up after that. 4 pages available, but I definitely would not disregard the reprint, which is also just as nice as a mere Secret Rare, Out of Battles of Legend. And you don't have to, obviously, ideally, you can play some Tricksters, but this card is just so blowout, and it's a really powerful card that a lot of people, I think, don't expect or really think about. Really cool artwork, too, and then, you know, being a high rate of a Secret Rare. But this is, I mean, you can technically play this in whatever you want, really. It's just a really powerful trap card, and I like it a lot. It's roughly around the same price point, a little bit more favorable on the stacks. Here's a 5 stack here for about 9. So when the original print is literally only $1 more, obviously, you know, my rule of thumb is if it's, you know, double or more, go for the reprint, as long as, you know, it's same edition, same rarity. But in this case, they're pretty much the same, so I would go for the Code of the Duelist version personally. Next is going to be Hellpoomer. There's really just, you know, there's the Super Rare and there's the Retro Pack Ultra Rare, which are kind of just, I'm not personally really interested in. If you guys are interested in taking those, you can, if you want to take a look at those. This card is really not a good card. This is just a Gen 1 amazing artwork. Again, another just great card from the infamous set Pharaonic Guardian. As you guys can tell, I have a lot of love. I'm spending a lot of content and time on this set. And this is just another card that is already on its way in the collector's market. And there's only 2 pages. And again, only exclusively for the first edition. As a reference to the collector's market, there is one here, lightly played, for 12, and it jumps to 19. There's another one for 19, then, you know, quickly jumps into 25. So this And Dark Necrofear, like the $15 first edition Dark Necrofears and this, they're kind of in the same game. They're really not playable cards. They're just really old. They have amazing artwork. They're Gen 1 cards, and these are the OG prints. Everyone knows what's happening to like Magic Ruler first edition stuff, Legend of Blue Eyes first edition stuff, Metal Raiders first edition stuff. It's just a matter of time until Pharaonic Guardian first edition stuff, OG prints, and Labyrinth of Nightmare first edition print stuff start to follow in their footsteps. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And then the final card that I want to showcase tonight is going to be Judgment of Anubis. More specifically, the OG Secret Rare Dawning from Gen 1. Again, another infamous ancient set, Dark Crisis. And I talk about it a lot. I mean, the majority of my content is kind of more geared towards the collector's market. Personally, it's kind of just I have more ties, more investments in the collector's market because that's the kind of cardboard I enjoy, and I invest very heavily in collector's market, and kind of meta defining stuff and playability stuff is kind of a second nature to me. But this is personally, I believe, going to be, you know, just with the other cards that I'm talking about, Gen 1 is going to be in the collector's market. I'm trying to hunt down some first editions here for you guys. Doesn't look like we're getting any first editions until the second to last page. On the fourth page, these are about 8.5. There's a 3 stack here, and I quickly jump to about 10 bones. I don't really know what to say about this besides it's a Gen 1 secret rare. It looks amazing. It's Egyptian themed. I'm super biased towards Egyptian themed stuff. I think Egyptian themed stuff is just really great. It has an amazing artwork. It's Anubis, one of my favorite Egyptian god, and it doesn't have a terrible effect, you know. It's, you know, there is a cost, but it, you know, it's kind of offset by being a counter trap card, and it also has like a built-in ring of destruction, only for your opponent's damage. So kind of cool. It's kind of just like an obscure, old, kind of before its time, I guess, technically card, but just an all-around amazing card. And you know, these aren't being produced anymore. As the years go on, this card just keeps on getting more and more ancient, and it just looks extremely aesthetically pleasing. So wanted to showcase that card for you guys tonight. I have social media. The link is going to be below. You guys can feel free to message me anytime. I would love to hear from each and every one of you guys. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been a part of my life for almost 2 decades. Definitely by far one of my greatest hobbies and passions. I love the brotherhood and the friendship that this game brings. I think it's really cool that you can make this into a potential investment system as well. You know, the selling, the trading, and with the resources that we have online, being able to play with each other, duel each other and play games online and sell, and just it's a network. It's just really, really great. I hope you guys are making some amazing Yu-Gi-Oh! Investments yourself. Hope you're having a fantastic day. This has been a showcasing by the White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.